Welcome to the PyBites Developer Workshop. Become a rockstar Python developer. This is Bob Eldebos and I'm here with my buddy.
I'm Julian Sequeira. Thank you so much for joining us. We cannot wait to walk you through this. This is our developer workshop on being an awesome Python developer and how to get there. Let's get started.
Let's do this. First, who is this for? If you use Python in your career and you want to be better, this is for you. You're looking to improve your Python to land a developer role, or you're currently using Python in your career and you just want to get better in order to get a promotion, a pay rise, or just to be the best in the field. Or maybe you're a Python freelancer and you want to land better gigs.
Yeah, this is it. This is for the majority of people out there who are just trying to be better at Python, who want that job. So if you're that kind of person, you need to watch this video. You need to keep watching. The key here is you want to be better. And I really hope anyone who's watching this, that is what you want out of your career, out of your life. You want that promotion, you want that pay rise, and you want to be the best. That's the key. You want to be the best. And if you don't want to be the best, why are you here? Why are you watching? You need to be the best.
Not just mediocre, right?
That's
the
right.
Best.
If you're looking to actually crush your career as a Python developer, if you actually want to achieve everything that you set out to achieve, you need to be the best, and you need to strive to be the best. And we're throwing the freelancers there because not everyone is cut out for the actual career in a workplace. And a lot of people want to be freelancers and work on their own time, work on their own projects, take on whatever they want. And so this is just as important for you out there. So does this sound like you? My goal with Python is to have at least a new tool in my pocket and possibly a full career switch if I find a company that fits me. So there's a lot of generality there. We'll keep moving on. So I don't know what to do. I've got the Python basics. I'm now in a position to take the next step, some practical and manageable small scope projects according to my skills, but I struggle to decide what to do in that small project space.
What about this one? I get stuck while coding with Python because I learned to code through automating Excel sheets using VBA.
That's everyone. That's how
I
we all
started
learn.
there.
Exactly. This is such a common thing. This is what we hear from people. This is why we're sharing it. And I guess my lack of a portfolio on GitHub makes over 100K as a salary currently unrealistic. Well, that's just a myth. You know, I mean, we get it. You don't have a portfolio on GitHub, but does that really mean you can't make 100K, six figures? Yeah, we're going to have to dive into that. So before we move into more of the meat of this, one of the key things you need to do is visualize something. So what would your day-to-day look like if you were able to grow your Python skill and increase your income with a higher paying Python job? Now, I know this is all a goal for everyone, should be a goal for everyone, but have you really thought about what your life's going to look like? So pause the video and just for a second, just really close your eyes, think about it, and really give some thought into what would change in your day-to-day if this was to become the reality.
Oh my God, Julian goes full psycho-cybernetics on us.
We have to. You got to set these goals. You got to know. And all right, so I'm assuming you've paused and you've thought about it, but I'm just saying there should be a couple of pillars here. One, I would definitely say the flexibility kicks in. Having that Python skill, increasing your income, you get to work from home a lot. I mean, there's no need for you to be sitting in an office. You know, we all know that. You should be flexible. And just imagine what your life looks like with that boost to your income. Think about, you know, and be grand with your vision here. Think about the bigger house. You know, think about being able to provide for your family. Just the solidarity to your income, where you know that it's coming in regularly. You know, it's coming in at a higher level. Provide for your kids. Provide for your partner. You know, these are all the things that happen when you increase your income with a Python job.
And the type of skill, Python and coding, makes that you can scale up your outputs and produce more value to the market, which then leads to all those good things.
Perfect. So you're all pumped. You know where you're going. You know why you want it. So here's what's coming. This is what we're going to run you through in the next few minutes. One, and we love our gifts, by the way. So if you see these through the video, it's because we love having fun with this stuff. We're going to show you how building your Python skills to reach your goal is actually possible by consuming less content. That's a big one.
Yeah, and what's really mind-blowing is there's way more to it than just coding. I mean, Python, yeah, it's easy to get started. It gets tougher to grasp the more advanced concept, but all that aside, we will see that there's some other skills that really will take you to the next level.
Yep. And we have a really simple system. I mean, it sounds cheesy, but the reality is it's simple, and we use it, and it's allowed us to kick ass in the industry for over 10 years. And we're both, at this point, we've well-paid Python developer roles. You know, we're in these roles, and it's just really simple what we do, and we want to share that. So make sure you keep watching.
Yep.
Oh, and we have kids, and that's why we like SpongeBob and Patrick.
Shout out to Patrick.
So why is this any different? Well, it's key. The first thing, well, we're not selling anything, and we don't want to sell you anything. We're just here to help you grow. It's a frustrating thing for us to see. It's emotional for us to see people and to hear people from our community, from our Python community, who are just struggling to grow. And we know we have this ability to teach that and to help people grow. So that's why we're doing this.
We've been there and we overcome it. Now we are teaching it.
And there's nothing more to it. That's exactly why we're here. That's why this is different. All right, Bob, you want to kick this one off?
Yeah. So let's talk about 4 common mistakes when it comes to learning Python and programming overall. So a big one you see over and over again, it causes a lot of pain, is tutorial paralysis. Consuming books, we'll look a bit more into it next. I will just mention the 4 and we dive more in detail next. Improper sequencing, like not doing things in order, which leads to a lot of frustration. Obsessing early on over your code being Pythonic or not, basically perfectionism. And going on your own for too long. I mean, one of my favorite quotes is of Jim Rohn, who says, "Success leaves clues." And the same applies to programming.
And if you want to read more, we have a whole article on that, Python learning mistakes, but don't go to it yet, okay? Just stick with the video. You can read that later. All right, so let's dive in. Tutorial paralysis. And what is that? That is the paralysis of watching too many tutorials and reading too much. So, number 1, too much reading and too little coding. How many times have you sat there and read a Python book or even any book on anything that you're trying to learn, and you just sit there reading? When are you actually going to do the coding? When are you going to do the work? You know, there's these books, a lot of these videos. I mean, we've come across so many of these. They don't have any real world examples. Yeah, okay, great. Hello world. You know, fantastic. But when am I going to actually use that? How is that helping me? There's too much fluff. It's boring. You know, you don't absorb anything. And on the flip side, some of them are just too dense. We're not all experts when we start. We don't all just grasp concepts by just reading a sentence. You know, and these things can be so dense. They can be so detailed. And it's inefficient if you're not writing for the right audience. If these books aren't designed to teach you as an individual, you're just not going to get everything out of it. You think about books, they're designed for the masses. They're generic. It doesn't really teach you. Bob, you want to take the next one?
Yeah, I mean, what we found is that it all comes down to practice. And if you read a book about Python, it's more about Python, but to learn to code, you need to code. And a great analogy at the end is like, you wouldn't be learning English by reading a dictionary starting from A, B, C, etc. And that's the problem a little bit with those books. You don't really get your hands dirty.
Exactly. Then we have missequencing of information. We touched on that in the last slide, so we'll go into that a bit later. But the information's just in the wrong order. Then they're scattered and unfocused. And these aren't just books; these are videos as well. They have lack of good explanations. How many times have you been watching a tutorial on YouTube or something, and they just breeze through a topic that they assume that you should just know by watching this video? No, I'm sorry. I don't understand how to set up an SQL Alchemy database. Yet you just breeze over that in the video as if I should, and you don't explain how. It's ridiculous, and I can totally empathize in that it's so frustrating.
Yeah, and it ripples through to the types of questions then we hear like, well, how can I apply object-oriented programming here or functional? And sometimes that doesn't really even matter at that stage of the project. It's just about getting something to work. And so, yeah, it goes into a lot of concepts, but at the end of the day, it's about getting code out the door,
Mm-hmm. And there's some feelings that you probably relate with down the bottom, right? Feeling as if you learned literally nothing and wondering how to actually learn this programming language. Just think about it. You watch a course, you read a book, you've invested time and money, and you get to the end of it thinking, what the hell what just happened? I've got nothing out of this.
Tell them about your language learning experience today. That was not particularly from a dictionary.
Well, that's it, right? I mean, so Bob, as you can tell, he's Spanish. Well, hopefully you can tell. He's got a Spanish accent there, and he lives in Spain, and his kids speak Spanish. And while talking with him earlier today, his son popped on the camera and just started speaking Spanish to me. I don't speak Spanish at all. And, well, I just started learning. I popped on Google and just started Googling words, how to speak in Spanish, and really started to speak with his son just through random little broken bits of Spanish to English and vice versa. And the reality is I remember these words now. I remember exactly what I need to say to him to get his attention, to say, hey, look at this, and isn't that cool? And that's more learning than I've achieved from reading a book on how to speak Spanish. So this is the way to do it. You have to learn it by doing, right?
Awesome.
Yeah, I love it, man. Stop the endless stream of tutorials. So here's an actual wonderful way to sum this up. The sooner you can code, the better. Reading a book about programming is like reading a book about playing the piano or about cooking. At the end, you still haven't played a piano or cooked. And that was from a chap on Reddit, Code Tinkerer. So thank you for that one, Code Tinkerer. We love that one.
Applicable name, Code Tinkerer.
Exactly. So put that cookie down. We love Arnie.
Yeah, put that nice, comfortable cookie down now.
Yeah. But it's honestly that quote, it's so relatable, right? You just think about how ridiculous it would be to think to yourself, I'm going to learn to play a musical instrument, and I'm not even going to pick it up. I'm just going to read a book or watch a video on it. I'm going to be a master at it. It's ridiculous, right? So the same concept applies to code.
Yeah, drawing that comparison really makes it look pretty ridiculous, to go at it that way. One other common problem we have in our industry is imposter syndrome. But maybe the good news is that it's real. Here you see Twitter, Marietta, and Guido talking about it, and even if Guido says it's real, then that's quite a statement, right?
So, Bob, what is imposter syndrome?
It's like that nagging feeling that you're cheating the audience because you put something out there without really knowing what you're doing. Because you're self-taught, maybe you think you're not worth of a successful programmer career. I don't know, but it's something we put in our minds, and it's a story we tell ourselves, which usually is not true as perceived by the outside world. But it's really a problem.
The experience trap. So this one's wonderful. I love this.
Huge one.
I love this GIF. Chicken and egg. So this resonates with almost everyone that we talk with. How do I get experience to land a Python job? without ever having a Python job to get the experience. It confuses the hell out of people, you know. And it's true. You go for a Python job for the first time, they want Python experience. Well, how the hell are you supposed to get that experience if you never had a Python job?
Yeah. Or I've only done theoretical exercises, or here you have them again, tutorials, not real world stuff. Or I'm getting through the first level of interviews, so I can ace my Python. I can talk about collections and some data structure, but when I get real questions about bigger projects and system design, I fail. I just don't know where to go.
Hmm. All these things come down to, a lack of experience. I don't think I'm good enough. I don't have that professional experience. These are all,
Confidence.
yeah, these are all pains that people have. The competition is killing me. Some more pain. Everybody
Oh
goes
my
through
God.
boot camps. Everyone,
Everybody does Python boot camps.
yeah. I mean, we hear that all the time. I don't have an awesome CV. Why? I can't do this. I'm never going to have a good Python career. I don't have a
No
CV.
projects to show for. Don't have an audience.
Yeah, no one knows who I am. No following.
What about the new kids, the new graduates coming out of college and they're writing algorithms that Mr. Robot would be proud about?
Mr. Yeah, these. How often do we hear from people, new people coming into the workplace, young guns coming in and just taking over? They've been learning Python since they were born. And likewise, recession is here. I'll be made redundant.
AI.
Yeah, yeah, AI. That's right. So there's a lot of competition out there, and it puts a lot of people off. There's a lot of fear there. So, who we are, why you should listen to us. You want to kick this one off, Bob?
Yeah, you might be wondering by now, who are those voices? Well, I'm Bob Belderboss. I've been programming since 2006, where I was doing VBA. I was working in finance. Found it a bit boring, so I got fired up about programming and taught myself web development, Perl, Bash, PHP, and ultimately Python. And since then, I didn't look back. Landed a software developer role, launched PyBites, my well-respected Julian Sequeira here. And since then, yeah, all bets are off, and we're full on Python, 24 by 7.
Yeah. And I'm Julian Sequeira. I'm a 10, more than that, more than I care to admit, in the IT industry. So working in data centers, and I've transitioned. I've made that transition to a Python developer, and it was difficult, but it was awesome. And again, with Bob, we started the PyBites community, the PyBites blog and challenges, and we've just gone full into Python, and we absolutely love it. We love to teach it. This is what we do. This is what we're passionate about. And we have this incredible community of Python programmers behind us, with us, and it's just this beautiful thing that we do. So if you are someone who's in that position, who wants more out of Python, this is the place to be. And we're the people to show you how to do it, because we've done it. We've been there and we've done it ourselves.
Yep.
All right, let's kick some butt. So why do these existing methods fail, Bob? Kick it off.
All right, ready for some science? You got a learning pyramid here, and it's actually pretty simple. If it's lecture, reading, audio, demonstration, the retention is only 5 to 30%. So you can read something and next week, we all experience that. Next week you have forgotten most of it. But if you apply your knowledge or what you learn in group discussion, practice by doing, and especially teaching it to others, you retain up till 90%. So once we started to notice that with the way we learned and taught programming, that was like the biggest light bulb we had, I think.
Mm,
I mean,
that was
basically
massive.
for 1 hour you invest in coding, you have the same effect as 3 or 4 hours of passive learning. And that's huge.
Yeah. There's a tweet I saw from a mate yesterday that just said an article takes a few minutes to read, but it takes hours and hours to write. And this is the reality, right? Teaching others. This is what kicked us off. This is the exact step that we did, teaching others, and it helped us boost our Python learning, like, I don't know, exponentially. I want to say, because we had been doing lectures, reading, audio, visual, demonstration, and we just weren't getting there quickly enough. It was the teaching and the practice by doing that got us to where we needed to be. And I want to call out that demonstration one. So when you watch videos, audio visual, 20%, right? But when you see videos that actually do demonstrations, they walk you through it. Who's actually doing the coding there? Is it you or is it the person in the video? And that's the key. It's not you. And that's why it's only 30% retained. Right? That's 70% of what you just spent your time watching, gone. You're never going to remember it. And that was the big eye-opener. So keep that in mind. It's the doing and it's the teaching. That's what's going to get you your results.
Yep.
Why do people buy courses but then don't complete them? What did we find on this one?
Interestingly, lack of strong willpower and a clear goal. So a lot of people set out to learn Python and just go random at it, right? You notice that if you have a clear goal, could be a project you want to build, something with a deadline, you're way more likely to succeed. That's called the Parkinson's law, that a task blows up in size relative to the amount of time you give it. So if there's not a goal and a clear roadmap, then it's almost never going to happen.
And it's true, right? It's true with everything. How often have you sat there at home and thought, I'll get to it next week? And because you've given yourself a week, you never get it done. But then when you know you have a deadline of tomorrow to get something done, it's everything else stops and you get it done. And this is the problem with courses. When you have an online course that is self-paced, you make excuses. You get home from work and you say, I'm tired. I'm not going to do it. You know, I've got this forever. I can take my time. I'm going to go watch some TV instead. You know, there's just non-stop stream of excuses. And this is why people buy courses, because they want that comfort. They want that knowledge that I have this. This is mine. I've got it. And I'll get to it when I make the time. And no one ever makes the time. Right? It's right there. Poor time management and planning.
It's almost like having this insurance, but at the end of the day, it's not really an insurance, right? Because first, you're not going to finish this course. And if you are, as we just saw, you have just 20 or 30% retention. So it's not going to matter that much. So own your career. First, really ask yourself, what do you want? What is your goal?
Yep. And I know this sounds generic, right? But think back to almost that one of those first slides where we said, visualize what your life looks like with a Python job and more money. This is the same thing. You need to visualize what your career is going to look like. I mean, there are two kinds of people, we feel. And there are the people who just let things happen. And then next thing you know, they get to the end of their career and go, oh man, I wish I'd done what I wanted. I wish I'd actually achieved that goal. I wish I'd become this. I wish I'd done this in my life. And then there are people who actually visualize it and then do what they have to do to get there. So what's your goal? I mean, how many people watching this, how many people that you know have actually sat there and put down on paper what their goal is with their career and actually given it some thought? It's not enough to just sit there and say, I want to be a Python developer. What does that mean to you? Why? What do you want out of that? What kind of Python developer do you want to be? There's so many avenues, right? And you cannot expect your manager to tell you what you're going to do with the rest of your career. This is such a common pitfall, right? You're the one who's in control. Your manager's there to support you. They're not there to tell you what to do. So this is one of those things that you have to do. You have to own your career.
Yeah. We always say, your manager should be your biggest supporter. You're constantly negotiating for, I mean, you do the work, but it's also about your career, what you get out of it on the longer term. And the goal thing, it better be specific. A great analogy is like if you take a plane that's going from San Francisco to New York and it's only like off by 0.5%,
Hmm.
it actually ends up like, I don't know, in Alaska or it's like that tiny angle, but stretched out over a long distance, it will really matter, you know?
And to add to that, what will your legacy be? 20 years from now, you'll be more disappointed by the things you didn't do than by the ones you did do.
Huge. Julian dropping some gold here.
We love that quote. Absolutely love it. It's
Yeah.
true, right? I mean, and it's also the things you remember. You don't remember what you didn't do. You remember what you did. It's those are the things that make you feel good, right? And this is something we like to say a lot of the time. We fear inaction more than occasionally looking stupid. So what does that mean, Bob?
Yeah, I mean, we're so afraid of messing up, failing. But failure does not really exist because how many times did we mess up and we learned from it and we became better, right? So in that sense, actually, you become better by failing. I mean, look at artists, look at athletes. They go through a lot of shit, but they come out stronger, right?
Mm.
So you have to take action. You have to fail, and you come better, and that's it. That's how you get to become a professional.
I'm going to throw another one in there. There's no such thing as failure. There's only opportunity.
Yeah. That's a mindset thing.
Yeah. This is why we fear that inaction. If we don't do anything, we're not failing. We're not getting out there. So think
Yeah.
about that when you go through all this. What will your legacy be? Make sure that's a thought in the back of your mind every decision you make.
It's also insidious, right? Because we can eat healthy for one day, but that doesn't mean that we will be have a healthy lifestyle, right? Or we
Mm.
can slack off one day on Facebook, the other day nothing happens. Or we eat badly for one day, nothing happens. But yeah, over the span of years, and then talking about career, that can really mess you up, right?
Mm. Oh, you know what? I've got another quote. I'm dropping these ones. I'm going to get this one out here. The days are long, but the years are short. Okay. So you seriously, oh, that's one of my favorite quotes ever. Actually, I love that one. But if you let your
You're on a
days,
roll, bro.
this is great. If you let your days be filled with these little things that, and they happen. Your days are filled with all sorts of randomness. But if you keep making excuses and you don't take action, those years are just going to fly by. How many times do you say, "Wow, I remember this time last year"? Everyone sees that Facebook timeline thing that shows at this time 7 years ago, and you think, "Wow, that's 7 years ago. Geez." Yeah, the years are short, but yet you get to the end of your day and you think, geez, that was a long day. So just remember, you have to keep taking action. And it doesn't matter if you're tired, it doesn't matter. But it's the inaction that messes you up long term.
Okay. Last quote then, right?
All
We
right, here we go.
overestimate what we can do in a year and underestimate what we can do in 10 years. Uh,
Mm.
Bill Gates and Tony Robbins.
I love that one.
It's about the long haul, folks.
That's it. What seeds are you planting now? All right, this is the meat. This is the big one, our system. You ready?
Show it.
Bang. So 4 simple things. Okay, this is what we mean by simple. Take a screenshot, whatever you have to do. Always seek opportunity. This is what you need to do. When you're at work, wherever you happen to be, even if you're not working, seek opportunity. Don't sit there and wait for things to come to you. Look at what you can do. How are you going to contribute? What exactly are you going to do today or tomorrow or next week? Look for those things. If you're, let's throw some items out there, Bob. If you if you don't have a job, all right, get out there on the net, join some Python communities, look for people who need help. How can you share what you learn? How can you share the things that you already know? How can you enrich someone else's life? Seek these opportunities, and good things are going to come your way.
It's
People.
mind-boggling how lonely it is at the top, right? How few people actually do this.
Not enough people do this. There's so much me. I want, take. But you have to seek opportunity to give. You have to constantly push, right? And if we're talking about the workplace, you have your job, you have your guidelines, you know what it is you have to do every day. That doesn't mean you can't get out there and go and help other teams. So two of the things we love to do the most is help people. People know we love to code, so they come to us. But that's taken time to get to that point. We have to prove that.
Last quote then, Ziegler.
Mm-hmm.
Get as many people what they want, and you will get everything you want.
Mm.
So that also means like, yeah, you can build yet another game or whatever, and that's cool. I mean, it's all practice. But also look strategically, and if there is an opportunity to add value in the workplace, that's probably a better place to invest.
Mm. And I'll just point it out now before we get to the next one. These are the things that we do every day. These are the things that we think about when we make decisions and with everything that we decide to do with our time, right? They have to fit into one of these 4 pillars for us to feel like we're actually achieving. All right, so deliberate practice. You want to take that one?
Yeah. Kind of a no-brainer with coding, as you have to code every day, get better, get practice, challenge yourself with more complex projects, write a lot of code. But not only that, you have to go through code reviews, have more experienced developers look and criticize your code. So yeah, deliberate practice, not only like I spent an hour coding, what did you do in that hour? So you have to kind of get increasingly more challenged.
Yeah. Think about the why as well. This is what we mean by deliberate. So it's not enough to just sit there and go, I'm going to read this book. Yep. Why? Why is that deliberate? Why is that helping you? How is that getting you to your goal? Make sure that the practice is intentional. Like again, back to that same analogy we used before, learning an instrument, learning a language. Deliberate practice for learning an instrument isn't just to sit there and watch people playing guitar on video. No, mate, you got to pick up that guitar, you got to plug it into an amp, and you got to start playing. So with coding, it's the same thing. With getting better at your job, with improving yourself in the workplace, comes with practice. You need to actually be intentional with what you're doing there, right? So broken record, I know, repeating myself over and over, but this is why it's a pillar for us. It's simple, it's raw, it's basic, and it works.
And we say coding, but this is actually anything in life, right? I mean, could be marketing,
public speaking,
all kinds of skills where you have to level up.
Yeah. I mean, how do you think you get good at presenting at work and things like
big
that?
One.
Just got to get up there.
Yeah, I mean, we know a lot of programmers that are absolutely brilliant, right? But when it comes to communication and presenting, not so much, because they invested all their time coding, but not necessarily building those other skills that are equally or maybe even more important.
And you know what? This leads into the next pillar perfectly. Become uncomfortable. So what we mean by that is the thing at least once a week. The rule is generally once a week. We try and do it multiple times a week. But you have to put yourself out there. You have to do something that makes you uncomfortable to break that fear. So presenting, back to our previous point, is a perfect example. So, get up there and present something to your team, on your team meeting even. It doesn't have to be that formal, but do something that makes you uncomfortable, because that is when you grow. That is when you remember. That is when you retain. That is when you start breaking down these barriers and moving from where you are to the next level. It's through pushing through the discomfort, pushing through the fear, and just putting yourself out there. So our rule for our system, Bob, you know this, we try and do it multiple times a week. Still scares the pants off us, right?
It does. But if we're comfortable for too long, probably our goals are too small, So I'm with Brian Tracy here, and growth happens outside of your comfort zone. So let me check up on you just quickly. When was the last time you were uncomfortable? Was that this week, hopefully?
Me? Oh, mate. I think it was like in the last 12 hours. It's true. We just keep doing it. When you sometimes you think about LinkedIn. Here's a perfect example, right? Not many people actually post on LinkedIn because they're surrounded by their colleagues. These are the people you work with, the people you see every day. It's not just your family and friends like on Facebook. These are professionals that you respect, and there's this fear factor with that. So the second you post, you're out there, and that's scary, but you got to do it, right?
Yep.
It's a way to grow. I mean, hey, look, what's the opposite of uncomfortable? It's comfortable. Whoever achieved anything by being comfortable? No one.
No.
It just doesn't happen. So speaking of LinkedIn, the last
segue.
pillar. Yeah, nice one. Grow your network. Now, that's a really bad example, LinkedIn. I don't mean grow your network by just adding people on LinkedIn and connecting. That's not grow your network. What is it?
What is it?
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm just adding people. You tell me.
Grow your network is it's communicate. It's about getting out there. Again, see how they all work together, right? Seeking opportunity, becoming uncomfortable. It's about getting out there and engaging with people. So get out there on your social media. Find people that you like, that you follow, that you look up to. People who are interested in the same stuff as you. Talk with them. You've got to get in there and build this network for yourself. It's not as simple as just adding people and hoping for the best. That doesn't work. That doesn't do anything. You got to get in there, talk with people, engage with them, learn with them, find the similarities, build these relationships. And that is one of the keys to success, because you will make yourself memorable when you get out there, when you have these discussions and make yourself known to these people, when you tie this one in with seeking opportunity and you make yourself valuable to other people. And then when they need something, they go, hey, you know what? Bob, he helped me with this. He was an absolute champion. I'm going to give him a call. And that happens to us all the time.
Yeah, it's you become that go-to person. And I think we both have had great opportunities in our careers by nurturing our network, and we had some dormant contacts, and all of a sudden, they became active, and they had something we could leverage.
Mm.
But yeah, of course, you have to become valuable to them as well. It's not like, hey, you're awesome, and that's kind of useless.
Yeah.
You have to nurture that relationship and give them value too.
Mm-hmm. You know what? Actually, I wasn't going to do it, but I'm going to do it now. I'm going to throw in an example of how all four of these work together. So you ready? Look at this animation.
Yeah,
Ooh,
do it.
Beautiful. That massive action.
Oh my God.
So here's an
What's
example.
That? I want to know. What is that? How can I do this?
So I'm not going to go into specifics, but I'm just going to say I was seeking opportunity. Someone needed some Pythonic help. They needed a script written. This was work-wise. And I put my hand up. So I put my hand up for the opportunity and said, I'm going to do this. I can write this. I can help you. So I had to practice because I didn't know how to write the script. I didn't know what I was doing. So it involved work. I really had to put in the hard yards to learn this, learn the concept. Anyway, long story short, I wrote the script, become uncomfortable. I presented the script. So not only did I make it work for the team, I then went and presented to the team. I presented to the managers and whoever else wanted to dial into the call. And so this grew my network. I made some more contacts from that. And lo and behold, by doing that, one of those contacts came back to me and said, I've got a role just for you. And that's
amazing.
How I got my first Python job. Official 100% Python job. But those four pillars that we've been abiding by or living by for however many years, I don't know, Bob, that's what led to me getting my first Python job.
It's amazing, bro.
So it's this stuff is real. We're not just talking crap here. This is the stuff that we live by that has gotten us where we are. And it honestly comes down to massive action. That's why it's there in red.
Cool thing once you grasp this and you start to do this in all areas, then it's just a formula, right?
Yeah. It really is. It really is. And the line there shows that it's not just one. It's not in any particular order. Just all of it. Just get it done. Just all of it. In summary.
Yeah, so as you've seen, there's a lot of Python here coding, but also a lot that's not. So there's much more required to have a successful developer career than just coding.
Hmm.
And success happens outside of your comfort zone. I mean, I think that's clear from the last slide that that's where you want to hover at least once a week because that will be required in order to grow.
Yep. And as we touched on with the whole career thing, you're the only one who has the power to change this. No one else is going to do it for you. It's not just going to drop in your lap. You're the one who has to do it. You have to own it.
Unless you believe in a lottery, maybe buy a ticket and,
Yeah, if you
usually
want
not up.
to if you want to invest your entire future in the lottery, fine. But then
I won't take that chance. No.
maybe watch the video again if that's the case. All right. So don't procrastinate. You got to start with the small steps. We love this GIF. You start with the small ones, and it's a domino effect. As you take small steps, it gets bigger and bigger. It's a snowball effect.
Momentum. And a lot of procrastination actually stems from perfectionism. Like I need to do XYZ before I can even call this publish worthy. And, you get this very polished. It's not how it works. You need to get your stuff out there. Otherwise, you cannot even iterate over feedback.
Yeah. I mean, it's the same thing that we hear all the time. Oh, no, I can't do that. I can't write an article for you. I can't get out there and apply for a job. No, I haven't even taken this course yet. No, sorry. That's just perfectionism. You can do it, And on that note, one thing I'm going to point out, and hopefully those of you watching this have noticed this, everything we've covered off here isn't actually Python code. It's more than just coding. In fact, the majority of your success as a Python developer isn't even about your ability to code. The ability to code, it just comes. It comes with practice, that deliberate practice. But there's so much more to it that will lead to your success and your ability to pass a job interview, ability to communicate your way through the actual role. There's so much there, and I hope that this has really shown you that. This is the exciting part. We're really, really excited. I'm super pumped up right now.
Me too.
If you're watching this, we want to talk with you. Because hopefully you've been inspired by everything that you've just watched and listened to talk with us. We just want to talk with you. We really want to talk people through their process. We want to take you. We want to hear your situation. We want to hear your pain. We want to hear what you're going through, where you're getting stuck, and we want to help you with it. We want to talk to you about it. So what we want you to do is head to that link. It should be below this video on the page that you're watching it on. PyBites pages apply. Or click that golden apply button in the top right, whatever it is, you'll be directed to a calendar. And you want to use that calendar to choose a time slot to talk with Bob and myself. And we want to talk to you. We want to help you. We want to work you through your problems and your pain points and just give you some guidance. I think that's what everyone needs, just a little bit of guidance. So if you want that from us, you click that link and you book us in for a call.
Yeah, people that are joining our strategy sessions got out there with clarity because we really want to dive into where you are, where you want to go, what's holding you back. So hop on the phone and we love to hear more.
Yeah, we want to talk with you. We're getting lonely. No, I'm kidding. All right. So thank you so much for watching this. We really appreciate your time. Bob, loved this. This was so much fun.
Oh, this was great. Thanks all for watching and hope to talk soon.
Yeah, and you can't see me, but I'm holding up a glass of water because it's too early to have a drink. So cheers, and here's to your Python career.
Cheers, mate.
Good one.